What's up, y'all? It's been a hot minute since I last hiked. My previous hike was 3 weeks ago, the Friday before July 4th, and I did a pretty easy hike in the Mountain Lake Wilderness near Parisburg, Virginia. But since then, it was just 3 days of debauchery during July 4th. The next weekend, I went to a friend's lake house. Then the past couple weekends, I've been working hard and moving to a new apartment. So it's about finally time I got out to the mountains again. And today I am hiking the Big Butte Trail in Pisgah National Forest in the Appalachian Ranger District. And yes, the name is Big Butte. It's actually one of the ends of the trail is on the Blue Ridge Parkway, and you always see a lot of pictures with people showing their butts by that sign. But I actually started at the much less popular end, which is the Cane River Gap. That kind of is the divide between the Great Craggy Mountains and the Black Mountains. And so I started at the north end, and I'm heading south. And this is the much tougher, longer version of the hike because I start much lower and I have to climb. So this trail is listed as 5.6 miles one way, but that doesn't include an out and back to Big Butte. So my plan is to continue north climbing. I started around 4,000 feet, and I basically have to climb in 2.5 miles to Flat Spring Knob, just over 5,600 feet. And once I get to that elevation, it kind of stays a little bit more level. And then from there, I'm going to tag Flat Spring Knob, do the little side trip to Big Butte, which is around 5,900 feet. And then Little Butte has the big views of the Black Mountains. Continue south to Point Misery. And then if I have time, my idea was to, once I get to the Blue Ridge Parkway, turn left on the Mountains to Sea Trail and try to climb up Blackstock Knob, which is around 6,300 feet. And it's one of those 6,000 footers that I haven't crossed yet. And that's supposed to have really good views. So if I do all of that, it might be around 15 miles. I'm not really sure, just because there's not exact mileage listing from the other end of this trail to Blackstock. So we'll see. I really loaded up my backpack today. Since I figured this trail would have no access to water because it stays high on a ridge, I actually brought a gallon of water, 2 water bottles, and a full bladder. Lunch, multiple snacks, rain gear. I really loaded up. It kind of feels like I'm actually backpacking, but it's just for a hard 15-mile day. Fortunately, this is one of the few trails that I think is all single grade hikers only. It doesn't follow any forest roads, and it's had a lot of praise on Facebook and online from people saying the North Carolina High Peaks Association has really maintained this well, and it's supposed to be a super nice trail. So I'm looking forward to it. Even though it's going to be tough, it's going to be nice switchbacks. I've climbed about 500 feet on switchbacks already, which was nice. And I guess I'm just going to have to power my way up another 1,000 feet or so, and then I'll be on the top of the ridgeline. So we'll see what's up there. I've made really good time. I'm already above 5,400 feet. So I've climbed around 1,300 feet in just 30 minutes, which is pretty good time. The trail, even though it is a continuous climb all the way up, it's never that steep. So you can keep a pretty good pace. And since I've gained the 5,400 foot elevation, it's leveled off, and it's this really nice, wide, grassy path. So I may have been wrong when I said this was all single file hiker's path previously, because this looks like the width and grade of a forest road, but that forest road must be really old because the grass is permanent and there's no rocks at all. So I'm getting pretty close to Flat Spring Knob, my first destination, which is just off trail, but a really easy peak bag. And after that, I should be getting to the high open ridge lines. This was a really stupid decision. I'm pretty sure I got poison ivy, poison oak, rabies, malaria, dengue fever, everything. I think I'm at the summit of Flat Spring Knob. It's pretty wide and broad, so oh man, this is a stupid decision. Should have done this in the winter. This is, oh, my legs are burning. There's thorns everywhere. It was just a lot more growth than I thought. I'm ready to get the hell out of here. I don't even know why I'm recording it. But yeah, Flat Spring Knob, 5690. Ah! Honestly, I feel even dumber now. I should have just kept going down the trail a little where it started dropping to keep looking for a way to the top, because mere 20 feet from where I just took that last video is this wide open grassy area, and I'm at the summit now. And if I just keep heading that direction, it looks a lot clearer, and it looks like it opened up all the way down to the main trail. So I just went through a briar hell for nothing. Well, at least it's the easier way down. Looks like the peak up there in the distance, that's a Big Butt, and that's over 5,900 feet. So that's next on the list, and that actually has an old forest road track to the top, so I don't have to do this again. The summit of Big Butt is just up there. Interesting little tunnel through dead trees near the top, but even though it was easy to follow path, it's not maintained, and it was also extremely thorny, which was very annoying. Again, I only have one more off-trail peak to bag, Point Misery, and I'm really hoping that it's not another thorn fest, because my legs are not enjoying this. But Big Butt is at 5,930 feet according to my GPS, so somewhere around that, just under 6,000, and it is part of the Black Mountain Range and is the kind of the northwestern tip of the small curve of the J. And after this it drops, as you can see. There's this view. I didn't know there's a view up here, but it's a decent view northwest, and the land just kind of drops away from Big Butt and the Black Mountains end. And so I'm kind of looking, I don't know what this creek drainage is. It might be Ivy Creek or Reams Creek. Either way, this is kind of the desolate northern Great Craggy Mountains, part of the Big Ivy area, and there's really few trails throughout this region of the national forest. And then, although it's hazy towards the north, I think the big mountain in the distance is Big Bald. I'm not sure, but it's something on the border with Tennessee. I'm gonna keep going and get to the good views today. And the bugs are biting me right now, so I'm gonna keep moving. I'm at Little Butt, which is the highlight of the Big Butt Trail. Just ate my lunch and admiring the awesome views of the Black Mountain Range. This is one of the angles that I haven't gotten yet, because most of the views are from the eastern side of the Black Mountains. And I'm around 5,500 feet. So straight ahead is Point Misery, that's around 5,700. And I think the tall knob in the distance is Blackstock Knob, which is my hopeful goal. But everyone's always wondering how I know so much about every peak. I do a lot of map reading. I have a really good memory, but anywhere I hike, I try to identify a couple key features of the area, and then I build out from there. So I'll give you a little tutorial about the Black Mountains, which is one of my favorite places to hike. So down here is the deep Cane River Valley, and that is almost all private land, part of the big Tom Wilson Preserve. I think it's mostly hunting, but it's a very remote area in North Carolina. So the Black Mountains are shaped like a J or a hook, and they start from the far north over here, and the far northern peak is Silo Knob, and then it wraps around like a J without an I here, and then it ends up in this direction, and the last peak is Big Butt. But if you're anywhere in this region and you're trying to identify what all these peaks are, there's two key features that I look for in the Black Mountains, and neither of them is Mount Mitchell. Although from this direction, Mount Mitchell is much easier to spot than it is from other angles. So if I'm looking straight ahead, that is Mount Mitchell. But sometimes from the east, these two double peaks, that's Mount Craig and Big Tom, they look just as tall, if not taller than Mount Mitchell. But that's not what I usually look for. The first thing I look for is this. That's Deep Gap. That's basically dead center of the Black Mountain Range, and it's a really deep V, and it looks deeper from other angles. So just to the left of that is Winter Star Mountain, and then begins this long, kind of flat crest of the Northern Blacks, which is one of my favorite areas in North Carolina. And the little humps are Mount Gibbs, Horse Rock, and then Silo Knob. And then you can build out from the right, and that little peak there is Potato Knob, and it's Cattail Peak, Balsam Cone, Big Tom Gap, Big Tom, Mount Craig, and then Mount Mitchell. The second key feature I look for, which is much easier to find from southern views, is the antenna towers on Clingman's Peak. So from there to the left, this is Steps Gap, and that's Mount Hallback. To the right of the towers is Potato Knob, and then the mountains swing around, and that should be Blackstock. So whenever you're in this region of North Carolina, you can always see those antenna towers on Clingman's Peak and easily identify the peaks around it. And the same goes for Deep Gap. So it's a easy way to check out a map and then learn to identify features while you're hiking in the field. And definitely if you get lost or don't know where you are, this is a north-south crest, so I'm looking directly east, and it's just going to be opposite from the other side. So that's kind of the Black Mountains tutorial. So sorry it's a little long, but this is a great mountain range, has some of the toughest trails in the state, some of the best views, and I highly recommend visiting them if you haven't yet. The summit marker for Point Misery, another summit conquered. This is right around 5,700 feet, just under it, and it's about 30 feet off of the trails. Definitely the easiest of the off-trail summits. Surprisingly, even though this is over 200 feet shorter than Big Butt, this area is mostly a conifer forest, which is more akin to the highest of the Black Mountains. And Big Butt was covered in a lot more deciduous trees and briars and stuff. You can see it's a lot clearer up here, bigger trees. I'm gonna keep trucking. It's around 230, 245, somewhere in there. Probably have 3 or 4 miles to Blackstock Knob, and at least 800 feet climbing, so it's going to be a longer hike than I anticipated. This is a really cool section of the Mountains of Sea Trail. I've been hiking for a while between Point Misery to Balsam Gap, and now from Balsam Gap, it was a steep 800-foot climb, but now I've been on this nice level 6,100 foot ridge line, which culminates in Blackstock Knob. I'm getting close, but this ridge has been a nice surprise. Very pretty, easy walking, and I'll soon be at the top. I think less than 100 feet after that last video, I come across this awesome open view to the north of the Black Mountains. And this is a angle I haven't seen before. It's really cool. So if we look in the distance, the knobbiest peak straight ahead is Silo Knob. And then the long ridge that ends at Winter Star Mountain, and then it kind of drops all the way to the Deep Gap. Then goes back up to Cattail Peak, Balsam Cone, drops again straight ahead, and Mount Crag is dead center, the tiny knob on top, and then this wide long peak is Mount Mitchell. And then we keep going. That's Mount Hallback and Klingman's Peak. This is a pretty awesome view. This is the summit of Blackstock Knob. It's listed as 6,330 feet. And although not nearly as tall as the main crest of the Black Mountains, this is at the southern tip of the J at the big curve. And from many angles, this peak stands out by itself really well. Unfortunately, there's no views at the summit. And I followed the trail down about 300 feet, and there didn't seem to be any views close by. I didn't want to keep going down because I'm pretty tired and it's already 4:30, and I have to turn around and do it all again, which will probably be 7 to 8 miles. But luckily there's only one steep climb up Little Butte, which has a lot of stairs. Otherwise it's mostly downhill from here. So I might be able to do that in 2.5, 3 hours. I didn't find the USGS marker. Maybe over here. It's strange just because how prominent the USGS markers were at those other summits I tagged today, which were off trail. And here it's a wide open summit, and I can't seem to find it, but I know I'm at the top. It's another 6,000 footer in North Carolina. I'm over halfway done with all the 6,000 footers. It's been fun, but now I gotta turn around and do the hike again in reverse. So I'll see you back at one of the nice views near Little Butte. Back at Little Butte after a pretty tough climb up those stairs. The mountains look a little different now. You know, it's around 6:20. It's the sun is going down, but the clouds have dissipated, and I like the bluish hue on all the mountains. I came from that tall knob way over there, but fortunately it's basically all downhill from here. I didn't take pictures or video from this spot on my way up because I ran into a couple guys and we got to talking, and we also were eating blueberries. This is a nice spot filled with wild blueberries, and also a decent view west. So this is it's worse now because of the sun. This is the Big Ivy area, and then the Great Craggy Mountains over there. I think the biggest one on the left, just to the right of the rhododendron bush, is Craggy Dome, and the smaller mountain dead center is Craggy Pinnacle. And then right here, pretty sure it's Snowball Mountain. But I'm tired. I'm gonna eat some of these blueberries, give me a little boost, and make my way down. I know they're small, but oh, it tastes so good. It's definitely going to help me finish. Holy crap, I am exhausted. It is 7:50. I have been hiking just over 8 hours. There were some delays. I stopped more than I have in the past, but even if I was going at my normal pace, um, I probably would have hiked that in over 7 hours. Uh, I didn't reset my GPS before I started, so I have no idea what the mileage is, but I'm guessing it's going to be around 16 or 17 miles, but that was much tougher than I thought. I've been going downhill for the past 3 miles, past hour or so, and my feet are really killing me. I am very ready to go to the gas station, get a big soda, stop in Asheville at a brewery, get some beers and a pizza or a burger. Oh my God, I'm hungry. Um, yeah, it's a Big Butt Trail. If you're gonna do it, I highly suggest don't do the crazy, insane way that I just did. Start the Blue Ridge Parkway. It'd be a lot easier. It was a beautiful day. It's just a little longer and harder than I thought it was gonna be, but that happens. So I'm ready to change out these clothes and get out of here. So I'm out. See ya.